Dahmer, Gacy, Bundy. These are names that resonate in the annals of criminology. But before them, there was another. Mine. Holmes, America's first serial killer. Who was I really? A con man? A master of deception? Or something darker? My castle, some say, was a reflection of my mind. Labyrinthine, unpredictable, full of secrets. Experts described me as an organized killer. Methodical, cold, calculating. So I ask you, do you dare to accompany me to the end? Because in this story, the answers you seek may be as unsettling as the mysteries they conceal. Everyone knows me as Holmes, but my real name is Herman Webster Mudgett. I was born in 1861 in New Hampshire, into a middle-class family with strong religious values and a rigid upbringing. My father, Levi Horton Mudgett, was a farmer and painter, while my mother, Theodate Page Price, was a homemaker. During my childhood, I showed signs of social isolation and outstanding intelligence, although I was also reserved and difficult for those around me to understand.
It seems that as a child he was abused by his classmates to the point of being forced to touch a human skeleton. This incident, rather than frightening him, created in him an absolute fascination for corpses and death.
From an early age, I was unusually curious about human anatomy. As I grew older, my interest in science and the human body became stronger. So says Dr. David Cantor, an expert in criminal psychology.
Mudgett was able to see human corpses as a product from which he could make money, and I think he learned that in medical school.
I decided I wanted to study medicine and got into the University of Michigan. There, I learned about anatomy and dissection, useful skills both in and out of the classroom. But my ambitions went beyond academic knowledge. I began to see the world from a new perspective, and my interest shifted to manipulation. Insurance policies, false identities. But I soon discovered that the most valuable thing was not money, but absolute control. And for that, I needed a place. My dream was to build a hotel, and Chicago was the perfect setting. The city was booming, a place full of opportunities and secrets. I was constantly hiring and firing the workers who were building the place, making sure that no one but me knew the real design. With the 1893 World's Fair, thousands of people came from all over the world to see the wonders of the fair. The frenzy of the exposition provided me with a host of guests. However, their whereabouts became a mystery that in many cases was never solved. Amidst the bustle of the city, my hotel seemed a common place for travelers to rest. But for those who walked through its doors, it was the last place they would ever see. My hotel in the Englewood neighborhood was intentionally designed in a labyrinthine fashion. It had 3 floors. It was filled with rooms that had no exits, doors that opened into brick walls, and hallways that confused everyone who walked through them. The second floor of the building contained traps specifically designed to hold people in.
I modified the ventilation system to control the environment in certain rooms very precisely and dangerously.
The basement was the most sinister place in the building, filled with instruments I used for unauthorized medical practices far removed from any ethics. I was always methodical, I knew how to gain the trust of those who approached me. But how did I choose my guests? I carefully selected those who might be alone in the city, looking for a job opportunity and a new life in the city. Some I would hire as employees or offer them a place to stay. At other times, I would seduce a woman whom my faithful confidant, 𝗵𝗔𝗻𝗀𝗃, had previously been watching. With a drink, a smile, and a few well-chosen words, I managed to gain their trust. Then I would invite her to stay at my hotel. I was not a killer in the shadows, but a respectable businessman moving among Chicago's elite. No one cared about the missing. In the city of progress and money, people preferred not to ask questions, as long as the profits were flowing. With the closing of the expo, the influx of guests decreased and my finances became more complicated. So I decided to come up with a plan together with my faithful partner, 𝗵𝗔𝗻𝗃𝗀𝗃, a life insurance policy, a simulated death. But in the end, every plan has its risks, and soon ambition made me betray him. After that, I visited Pitzel's wife and children, who disappeared without a trace. For years, I wove a web of lies so perfect that no one suspected a thing. I manipulated, deceived, and created a facade of success that dazzled everyone. But, as often happens, the pieces of the puzzle began to fall apart. Investigators, alerted by the inconsistencies in Pitzel's case, began to dig deeper. My story began to crumble, and with it, the truth behind my castle. It was a place like no other, a death trap. But suddenly, something unexpected happened. The building was consumed by fire in August 1895. Was it an accident or something more sinister? The only thing certain is that the building burned down almost completely. Although there was talk of hundreds of victims, I only admitted 27. The actual number of people who disappeared in that hotel remains a mystery. The trial lasted 6 days. I tried to manipulate the system until the very last moment. I presented myself as a victim of circumstance, insinuating that my actions responded to a dark and inevitable nature that had marked me from the beginning. In 1895, I was sentenced to face capital punishment. Even in prison, my desire for control did not stop. I wrote an autobiography where I tried to shape the narrative, distorting the facts and playing with the truth, as I had always done. In an attempt to justify myself, I claimed that I was born a demon. My execution took place on May 7th, 1896, in Philadelphia. At the age of 35, my fate was already sealed. To make sure that my final resting place would not be disturbed, I requested to be buried without a headstone. Perhaps I wanted to make sure that my legacy could not be touched. After all, who does not have secrets, even after death? My lawyers turned down an offer of $15,000 from a medical institute that wanted to examine the brain of America's first serial killer, looking for answers to what made me who I was. But those answers, like so many other details, were lost forever. The criminal mind is an enigma, and although we think we know it, it always leaves a space for doubt. A space where horror never disappears. It only changes its form. If you liked this video, like it and subscribe for more shocking crime and mystery content. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Ready to delve into the dark legend of the Bloody Countess? In the next chapter, we will explore the story of Elizabeth Bathory, the Hungarian noblewoman accused of some of the most heinous acts of her time. It is said that she tortured and murdered to preserve her youth. But what is myth and what is reality in this chilling story? Was she really one of the most ruthless killers in history, or is there more behind her legacy? Join me and find out, if you dare. Never turn off the light.